following program on Ada Derana 24 is classified for general audience. It is intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, and little or no sexual dialogue or situations. We would like to remind our viewers that the views expressed in this program by our participating guests are solely viewpoints of them who take part, and does not reflect the views and beliefs of the Derana Media Network.
Welcome down to Gen XYZ right here on Ada Derana 24. Well, we've been off air for some time, but we've come back with an elevation of the show right here on Gen XYZ. We've brought to you something very important, a subject that has never been spoken before. This is about, well, the importance of physical beauty. Is it really a problem in Sri Lanka? Is it really a problem amongst the youth of Sri Lanka? That is exactly why we've got two individuals, by the way, for the first time in Sri Lanka. Two beauty queens who've competed in the same pageant. And this is for Mrs World. We've got Ishadi Amanda. Of course, thank you so much for doing this with us right here on Gen XYZ. Congratulations, by the way, on winning the mega pride for Sri Lanka as well. And, very glad to have you on board the show. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And we've got Lakshani Abeysinghe as well, who's been on the show before, so we're very glad to have you on board back as well. And I want to sort of set the entire conversation based on the seriousness of things, right? First, I want to sort of set the base of what this conversation is going to be about, and that I'm going to push the conversation to Ishadi. Okay. Now, Ishadi, I know it's very different for you because you have a sentiment of having foreign exposure, because you're from France, right? You grew up in France.
Yeah.
But when you come to Sri Lanka, you represented Sri Lanka in such a prideful way, and we were very glad you did that. But did you find that the support system that you got when you came to Sri Lanka, did you find that contradictory?
What do you mean with the support?
The support system. For an example, we talk about now in France it's a different story because you are from France.
Yeah.
You've grown up in France. But when you come to Sri Lanka, do you find the support system really strong, or do you find it a little bit challenging? Because you could have used a bit more support system in winning the crown.
Of course, that's not the same thing, because the beauty competitions in Sri Lanka haven't got the same place than in France. So here you don't have it's really private, and you don't have a properly situation, and the government is not really helping this this field. This is how it is, because Mrs Sri Lanka is a private brand actually, and they don't have any help financially or whatever it is from the government. So I think from that, yes, it was really challenging, and especially I'm a married woman, so to come from another country to here and to know how to to deal with people, everything is different here for me. To deal with Sri Lankans, the culture, how to face this competition with other contestants, so everything is different. So of course it was a big challenge.
Okay. Now, I found that very interesting that you mentioned in terms of, the government or the support that we need to get. Because Mrs. World, we've won so many crowns, it's not just one, we've won multiple. You bought one right now. But I think, Lakshani,
yes,
you unfortunately didn't get the opportunity to actually go.
I did not.
Because you didn't have the support from the government.
Not at all.
Explain that a little bit to me, because I know you weren't able to go and compete internationally.
Yes. So after winning the crown, we did all these preps, getting all the dresses ready, me getting into fitness and all that. We kept the visa process towards the end of December, because we thought see, I come from Qatar. I've been living there for a long while. I have an international exposure. I've worked with all these Hollywood celebs and, all in an international arena. So what happened was twice, they rejected me, saying they're not convinced that I would return to Sri Lanka. So when the second rejection came about, that's when we all started panicking, and we're we are running out of time. We need to start getting in touch with people, probably government officials, which we did. But they did not know how to work about this matter. We wrote letters to so many people, like not only in Sri Lanka, we wrote to the US government as well. And I remember the third and the last interview when I went to the US, the visa officer, the question that was posed at me was, is Mrs. Sri Lanka under any ministerial, like is it under any ministry, like the foreign ministry? So, and I had no answer to give because I know it is not. And I said, like, I'm not sure about it, but like the moment that got rejected for the third time, I come out, I call up Shandimal and I'm like, you know what, this is what they asked, whether it's registered under a ministry, which is not. And unfortunately, I did not have enough time to try out for the fourth time. But then I got messages from Caroline, because you know she, I think, applied for the fourth time, and that's when she got it. But I just simply gave up because, you know, I was just getting so frustrated. Like, you know, everything is ready, and at the same time, I had I had my ankle fractured. So even my orthopedic surgeon was like, you know what, you need a lot of rest. So I thought maybe this is like, you know, God's will or like universe's way of telling me that, you know what, I should take a rest. But like as Ishadi said, if government, like maybe ministries, or if this pageant falls under one of the ministries, maybe we could have more support. Like a proper support system is required, as she said. And yeah, so unfortunately I was not able to contest for it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that if she went there for the competition, she will bring us.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, that's
so
why
sweet
I'm
of you.
telling that it's important that when some contents and whatever it is, even if it's in sports sites, when some people are going to represent Sri Lanka, it's important that we have this support from the government or the big companies, like everyone, to represent Sri Lanka somewhere, because we are living abroad. Even you are from Qatar, so we are living abroad, and we did this step to come to Sri Lanka, represent Sri Lanka, go for a competition for Sri Lanka. So I think we need this support.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you know, I completely agree with her. Like, you know, even apart from that kind of support, we also needed like the support from like social media, from like the general population in Sri Lanka. Like, you know, to a certain extent, we did not get that. I'm pretty sure you can relate to that as well.
Yeah.
People always try to find fault with something or the other. Nothing's right, you know, everything, you know, they want to find something
I
wrong.
think I am the only one that I had this big support from everyone, even like artists from Sri Lanka, like celebrities, everyone supported me when I went there. I think because I went there after like so many years, like after Caroline.
Yes.
Is there some...
Ushi was there after
I think after
Pushpika.
two or 3 years, I went for the competition. So I had so much support from celebrities here and social media, everything.
Yeah, she has a big, like a huge social media presence. She's like a proper blogger, and you know, she has that support, which is like really great. I wish I had that, but like unfortunately I was not into, you know, social media in such way. But I'm really glad it worked for her in that way.
Let's talk a little bit in terms of social media.
Yes.
Right, that's very interesting, because I know social media is a place where you get support, and it can also be the death of you, you know, because of the comments, very harsh.
Definitely.
I know for the both of you, it was a very different situation, because you had a TikTok video that went viral, you know, with Mrs. World, and obviously you as well. But for her, for Lakshani, it was very different.
Yeah.
Because I think it was for you, people weren't really used to your physical appearance.
Yes, my physical appearance.
Yeah, they were like, oh, you know, she's on the plus side of things. She doesn't look, she has too much hair. Yeah. This is not,
true.
I don't think we
but
can.
I don't look like a typical Sri Lankan. Because, you know, see, the thing is, like, you know, if you talk about the evolution of, like, beauty standards, the definition, the societal definition of beauty is actually, you know...
it's very narrow, rather.
It's very narrow. It has evolved, like, over time, thanks to, like, not thanks to, like, it evolved over time due to economy, culture, and then media forces. But in Sri Lanka, it is the traditional beauty that is emphasized, you know, with traditional features and cultural attires. But, like, you know, luckily, due to globalization and media propagation,
It changed.
the Western ideals have
Has changed,
influenced this culture. So now we have this blend of beauty perception, which is good.
Yeah.
But like when it came to me, people were like, there were like nasty comments. She looks like, like a Negro. Yeah, they said that, like because of my hair, because of my skin color. I mean, this is my natural color. I'm not really fair. And I was bullied a lot.
Even for me, with my brown skin, it was like, even before all this competition, I started like to talk about my skin color on my social media, saying that brown skin is really good because here the fair skin mean rich.
It's so dramatized.
Yes.
My goodness.
I don't know. It's like since I'm in France, they love our skin color.
Yeah.
They are like always,
they do.
oh, wow, your brown skin, I love
Yeah.
it. I think even for the competition, the first place and the second place, we are brown girls. So in the
Probably
stage,
would have been a plus point.
in this stage we were like, okay, 2 brown skin girls here. We are so proud. So I don't know this mind in Sri Lanka. I think my path helped to change this. Hopefully that will help this to change this mind. But it's true that even for me, they are always like saying, okay, she has injections, she has this. I don't know why always judging our physical things and. This is so rude, especially for women. I think that's
because it's your own choice. Like I actually want to touch base on that particular subject. Like yes, like it is. I'm not against injectables or anything like that.
Lucky, we'll just bring that in a little bit to the other end, right?
Cool.
We'll talk about that as well.
Okay.
But I also want to dial back in terms of the bullying aspect of things, right?
Yes.
Because how people have an opinion on how you're supposed to look, because they're not really familiar as to how you're supposed to look. For an example, you mentioned that you have golden skin, you look absolutely beautiful, you look absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful skin, it's Sri Lankan skin, it's tan skin. But in Sri Lanka, they're like, no, if you're representing Sri Lanka, this is how you're supposed to look. And they don't accept it.
Exactly what I just told you earlier, the traditional beauty thing.
That's crazy, right? And how do you feel? I'm just going to push this question now because you're presently the reigning, Mrs. Sri Lanka first runner-up. How do you see, how are you planning to sort of change this, shift that mindset of Sri Lanka specifically?
I think first of all, I'm not going to do ads or something for if they are a product with white things inside. I don't know how that called.
Very good.
And I think naturally we have this skin, this hair because of this weather. The God,
weather,
I don't know how it is. Then scientifically on God gives us this skin color and hair because of this weather. We have to face this weather. That's why. So we can't change the melanin. It's really important and it's risky to change our skin color, whatever it is. Even the hair color, it's risky. Go to kill melanin in our skin is really dangerous. So I'm not going to talk about any products that will mention
the whitening of everything,
or something.
Bleaching.
And, bleaching and everything. And I think I'm going to work with more brands who are going to put this brown skin and
forward, accept brown skin,
makeup, whatever it is. So I think with social media, on my place and on my position, I can change some mind.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I think you'll do a great job there. And that's the initiation, the first part of things. Lucky you did something very sweet yesterday.
I do.
Because she made a video for the first time, I think, makeupless. There was no makeup. She had big glasses and everything. She was like, I'm doing my research for this interview today. And that had so much of a reach because people are like, you're so beautiful, you're gorgeous. That's the kind of traction that is,
so much.
traction that we need, Do you find yourself maybe pivoting from what you really showcase yourself to be to something different, to really ask people, this is who I am, accept me for who I am?
I actually want people to see me for who I am. Like, makeup is just like an accessory, just like, like an earring you wear. It only accentuates our natural features, you know what? I mean, you and I, like, we both being makeup artists, we both know that, like, we use makeup just for that purpose, not to change our entire persona.
No.
Right?
We should not.
Yeah, we should not. And I want people to see that there's something called real beauty and the media beauty, right? So this is something that we need to like properly differentiate and discuss more on shows like this, because media beauty has actually affected a lot of the youth in a very negative way, and yes. So this omnipresence of, like, if you may say it, like highly edited images that you see online has created this false illusion of perfection. And this disparity has, created this feeling of inadequacy amongst youngsters. They think they are not good enough. They don't think, they are not fair enough, they're not pretty enough, they're not thin enough.
Especially since you are a mother.
Yes.
I went for this competition with hanging boobs because I breastfeed my son. I have stretch marks on. That's natural, that's normal things. And I think in Sri Lanka, they are really looking for, not in Sri Lanka, I think
everywhere.
They are looking for like perfections,
Yes.
and especially when you are Mrs.
Yes.
That means you have a kid or everything. So we can be perfect with our stretch mark, with our
Definitely.
the body change, everything. I think we have to accept that.
True, and the society needs to start accepting that as well. Like, I mean, that's part of motherhood. So
that's a part of being Mrs. and that's also a part of being human. I think that's the collection of everything.
Yes.
Now, I love the fact that we mentioned in terms of skin, we touched base on a lot of things, but I really do want to, really tango around in terms of, white skin, like bleaching your skin, because it's such a big problem in Sri Lanka. Youth members, people from universities, students, all of them opt, okay, this is what beauty is. Even if it requires me to like put the harmless substance on my skin, I'm going to do it because that's what beauty is. That's fairness. That's I'm going to be getting opportunities because of this. We'll talk a little bit more on the other side. Cool. Right here on Gen XYZ is exactly where you joined in. And don't forget, we're located here, by the way, at a beautiful aesthetic place. This is Kemara Cuisine. They've got food, they've got all of these health options that you can actually, witness yourself as well and really explore. And we are talking about Reed Avenue, Colombo 7, in the heart of Colombo. You can come by and definitely enjoy everything that they've got for you as well. They've got some treatments. You've got to try it out. But until then, of course, we'll jump into a short commercial break. Well, welcome back to Gen XYZ right here on Other Derana 24, where we actually brought you two beauty queens of Sri Lanka. We're very proud of them. They've brought pride into Sri Lanka for all of us citizens as well, and specifically when it comes to physical beauty. Well, that's been a problem in Sri Lanka. We're talking about skin, we're talking about, okay, this is what the standard size of beauty is all about. But is it really the case? Do they follow that? Do they look like the standard case of beauty? Well, that's exactly why we've got them, and we're really going to talk about this. And Ishadi, now I know we actually spoke about skin. You're very, very, adamant when it comes to skin because it's not right.
Yes.
The youth in Sri Lanka, they would go to any extent of getting a white skin. And the worst part is, you get more opportunities if you have white skin as opposed to a darker skin.
Yeah, the thing is, I worked in Sri Lanka, and something I noticed is even for interview, if you have a white skin, I know it's like normally, that you have more chance to get the job than if you have a dark skin. I really saw that mentality, and I was like, wow, what's going on here? And even like when you are a girl, if it's a boy, I think it's different. When you are a girl, even parents are saying like, okay, if she's dark, we have to like find someone in a hurry to marry her, because if not, no one going to accept her because she's not like fair. And I don't know if it's, tell me if it's like that. I thought it's because of the colonization.
Colonization, yeah.
Because colonization make us that the white skin is power, white skin is rich. Is it about that? I don't know. I feel it
is partly because of that. Like, you know, the globalization actually, due to westernization or whatever, like, you know, people thought like, you know, the ideal beauty was like this slim, fair, tall figured girls, you know. So like, you know, have you ever checked the matrimonial sites, the papers in India or in Sri Lanka? What do they look for?
Horrifying.
Fair, thin, slim girls, where and the darker skinned girls are discarded. You know, like especially in India, like when like pioneers like Banu Attaya, she's actually she actually won an Oscar for she was actually one of the best designers. She's like, you know, challenging this beauty narrative. Still, although all this is happening in India, especially, they still like, you know, prefer the fairer skinned girls over the darker skinned ones.
Yeah.
Why? That's like inbuilt kind of, you know, like, you know, over centuries of, you know, like she said, the colonization and
all these things.
Everything.
Yeah. Now, I know this is something very interesting because, you know, your social media frenzy was very different. It was very, very different because everyone supported you. That was a great amount of support. But the actual Mrs. World, who actually won it, may have not been to the standard or the willingness or the likeliness of Sri Lanka. They'll be like, she doesn't look good. No, you look better. It's true. It's true. But then that's the beauty standard.
Yeah.
She won it because of a certain aspect of things, because of an answer that was good, because of, you know, she ticked off all the boxes. But then Sri Lankans were not very supportive of that.
Yeah, I was really afraid that she can see all things going on in Sri Lanka. I'm really like thankful that all Sri Lankans supported me and say that, okay, I should win the first place. But the thing is...
Sorry, which you should have, 100%. But, you know,
Yeah, the beauty standards are different. For her country, she is beautiful. Beauty standards are not same everywhere. In Europe, that's not the same. In Sri Lanka, that's not the same. And what I didn't appreciate is that to compare her for, you know, with some cartoon things and all. Because she's she become one of my best, like, a friend now, more than a friend. So I was so uncomfortable with that, and I think we don't have the same hair, we don't have the same skin, the same figure, but beauty contest is not only about beauty, it's about personality, it's about how she's dealing with other people, the sociability, everything, how she's genuine, how she's good inside. It's not only about outside beauty. So she's perfect person for me, from in and outside, because I know her personally. So she deserved this crown as much I deserve. But so I was really uncomfortable with all things going on about her.
I can imagine, honestly. But you know, congratulations, because you already won the title as well. You know, first runner-up is a big accomplishment for Sri Lanka. But I think something else that people didn't appreciate, or I wouldn't personally appreciate, is the fact that the answering questions, okay, that part is a very crucial part of, you know, pageantry. People didn't like your answer, or they thought, you know, that sort of substituted, okay, she's not really intelligent, Ishadi is not really, you know, she can't really pull it off and all that stuff. But they forget to know that intelligence, you're under the pressure of like millions of people watching you, literally around the world, and you're doing it for the country. So what do you have to say about that? Because I know a lot of people don't really understand that. What do you have to say about that?
The thing is, you can say that we are not just representing ourselves. On stage, we are representing our country, because always they are calling Mrs. Sri Lanka. They are not calling Ishadi Amanda. They are calling always Mrs. Sri Lanka. So I am representing a country, and as I told you, I had like so much support from the country, and so much people like put their hopes on me. So I'm representing a brand, Mrs Sri Lanka World brand, a country, my family, people in Sri Lanka, everyone. So it's not only about intelligent, about how I face this question, it's about everything. The excitement that I'm in top 3.
Yeah.
People looking at you, and I was like, okay, what will be the question, and how to answer to it. It was like everything. Maybe I under pressure. I was really under pressure, and especially the thing is, my first language is French.
Yes.
So when someone is talking to me, I am translating everything in French and then in Sinhala or in English. When I'm speaking in French, it's really hard because we have the same words, but pronunciation is different, and how we put the sentence is different. So I have to think more about that. So for her, it was easy. First, because she is a lawyer, so you know how lawyers are, they know how to speak. And I think it's all about also preparation. I didn't have enough time, you know how in rush I was.
It's always rushed.
Yeah.
It's
in Sri Lanka, it's always in rush.
Last moment.
Because she's the Mrs. South Africa 2023. So 1 year of preparation, and I only had like, in December, I was crowned here in December. I had like 10 days to go to a boat and represent Sri Lanka. So all these things. So it's not only about, you can't like judge a person from a right,
what they say, basically,
based in one answer. So I think if I went to this place, I think I am intelligent, and I can represent Sri Lanka, and I have this ability to do these things.
You have, and you've done so great, to be honest. You know, I think Lucky can agree to that as well.
Oh, definitely. I was just telling him that as well, that, you know, we should not be like, not us, like the people should not be attacking her, saying, oh, she could have done this had she performed well. Well, she did perform well. She did. She did her best. And, you know, she brought pride to Sri Lanka, right, after so many years. And, you know, that's commendable, and we should appreciate that. Unfortunately, I would not just like, you know, say this is a Sri Lankan thing. It could be, it's like a worldwide thing. People like, I think I spoke about this earlier also. People like to find faults and in just emphasize on that.
Lucky, I'm going to touch base on something very important.
Yes.
I think when you compare a lot of things, you have a little bit of a stronger grit on the language, the trade language, English. That's what's spoken everywhere, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why you sort of won Mrs. Sri Lanka as well.
I hope so.
One of the reasons, because that's the point of winning something. It's about beauty and brains.
Yes.
You were the definition of that. You're a definition of that as well. But you had a grit on the language.
Yes.
But that's also an aspect of people saying, oh, she's very posh.
Yeah.
You know, this is not what you know, it's too much. You dial it back. This is not what we want. You're not Sri Lankan. You know, this is too much. But you are very good in Sinhala. You were born here, basically.
Yes,
you know, you really grew up here as well.
Yeah.
But people always find a way to pull you down, like tear you apart.
They did.
And I want to mention this as well, which is, you know, she went through something very unfortunate, which was, health-wise. And people don't know this, you know, physically you went through something very traumatic.
I opened up about it to them, like when I was training them, the 2024 batch, but I haven't.
Would you like to tell everyone what you went through? Because people think, okay, she's too posh. People don't know the story.
They will always say something like, if I can't speak well English, they will say that go day. If she can't speak
really
English,
well,
if she can speak really good English, they will say that posh.
So that I'm trying too hard to be, you know, fit in. It's not that actually. Like there was a reason why I was not like really available or seen online last year because see, the pageant was supposed to be in January, so I did not get the visa. November, I actually fractured my ankle. In February, February 2024, I was diagnosed with a neurological condition, and that kind of made me pretty handicapped. Where I don't want to like, you know, talk a lot about it, but I was just telling Ishadi earlier, like how I get these attacks and I just, you know, get incapacitated. Like I do get a warning, and I just showed her the pills also. I still carry my emergency pills with me. So due to this, I was basically bedridden. I was home, like, I just had to stay at home for the most of the time. And there were like very strong steroids and even a cancer medication that was given to me. So I actually recently stopped it like 2 months ago. So for 1 whole year I was on this, and it made me gain around 15 kilograms. And people were bullying me. People were like, talking to me, and they're like, "Oh, you're supposed to look a certain way. You won Mrs Sri Lanka. How are you? You can't even fit into."
How hard.
Yes, it was very difficult. I was super depressed. I went through depression. I was anxious. I had to deal with anxiety as well. I had to seek psychiatric treatment as well, because my anxiety skyrocketed, because it was not easy for me. Because here in one way you're supposed to fit into these beauty norms, right? And on the other side, I have my personal health that I need to look after. If I'm not well, how am I supposed to look after my family, my child, right? I'm supposed to be responsible for that. So health came first. So I kind of took a break, and thankfully, I was telling you both, I'm off of the medicine. I'm back on the fitness routine, trying to lose weight, trying to be happy. I've lost a couple of kilograms, and I feel on top of the world. So basically what I want to say is that you really don't know what people go through, their personal struggles, and they just assume things. Assuming means obviously it makes an ass out of you and me by doing that, but people are very quick to assume and point fingers. Oh, she's a beauty queen, she should have been this, she should have done that, she should have spoken like this, she should have gone to this event. I couldn't go to any event because at any event I would go to, they would be like, why has she put on so much weight? People actually approached me. And they were like, aren't you the winner from last year? Why are you so fat? I'm like, wow. I can't go on, explaining to everybody, saying, I have this, I have that, I'm taking this medication, and this is what's happening to me. So I just kept quiet. I refused to answer. I just battled it on my own, and I think I've overcome it. I've learned to live with it. I'm actually partially deaf on my left ear. Still,
but you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear her. I can hear her. And I'm thriving. I feel like the best I've ever felt before than I've felt before. So it's all about perseverance and resilience, which I think is what I had. I had a few people that kept motivating me throughout the way, and that kept me focused on my target, which was number one. The priority was my health, and then my family. So I think I've come out of it now.
You did.
You have. You definitely have. Congratulations on that, to be honest, because I know it must have been very tough and very hard.
It was.
Unless you go through it, you don't know it.
It was.
There were circumstances, I think you mentioned before as well, where you wanted to go to the end of the stream, cut the line. There were chances like that, because I know there's a lot of youth members that would want to do that, right? Because they've not been accepted for their physical beauty.
Yes.
For instance, I think there's a little bit of a case. This is, a long case that I actually got to know with one of my friends, where, she was supposed to get married in Sri Lanka. She's a youth member. She's just out of university. She was supposed to get married, but because she didn't cross the line of this is the standard of beauty, because she had pimples on her face, because she had acne on her face, she had she wasn't the ideal bride for the family. So literally everything was sorted out, and because that wasn't there, she ended, she cut the line, she did the worst thing. And people don't understand that, how important the physical aspect of things, that it is okay of who you are, how you look.
Exactly.
And people don't understand. So I want you guys, because you are the epitome of people, getting validation. So how do you validate this, especially for so many people watching right now? Who, say physical beauty is on a standard. This is the standard of physical beauty. How do you validate and say, no, if you have acne, if you have pimples, if you have all of these, flaws, it's okay. That's beauty.
I think all is about self-confidence, and you physical beauty is something, but if you are good inside, if you are feeling good inside, if you are you have enough self-confidence, I think if you don't need to set to all these physical stands, you can, like, you have to build your self-confidence.
Correct.
The only thing is you have to be healthy. Sometimes acne means that you have some issues with your health. So you have to get over that. Mm-hmm. You have to. Yeah. But that's not something like, can you stop from to get married or to get a job or something. But just only thing, if you are healthy and you are good inside, you have a good mental mental situation and healthy situation.
That's what matters.
That's all important.
To add to that, I think people like us, it is crucial that we try to change or challenge this fake beauty narrative, and by emphasizing more on intelligence, resilience, and compassion. And when we do that, I think the youth will be inspired to feel that your inner attributes are more essential, important than your outer appearance. Exactly. Thus, building mentally sound people, youngsters. That's very important, because mental health is not something that Sri Lanka prioritizes on. Not at all.
Unfortunately, Well, we'll talk a little bit more on the other side, but this is, of course, Gen XYZ. We're joining in with two absolutely stunning individuals. I'm so proud to have them on board today as well on the show, because they are giving you something that is important. The things that you really need to know, especially growing up as youth members, the challenges you go through, especially as, youth ladies or young ladies. This is what you have to listen to right here on Gen XYZ. Well, in case you're wondering where we are, it's a beautiful place, by the way. It is Kimara, located at Reed Avenue, and this is Colombo 7. They've got some great stuff, by the way. They've got juices, fresh juices. It's all very authentic. It's it's sugar-free, by the way, gluten-free. It's all absolutely brilliant. And if you're looking forward to, getting on that little diet, but on a tastier way, this is the place. And so thank you so much, Kimara, for having us right here on Gen XYZ. With that, going to jump into a short commercial break. Welcome back to Gen XYZ right here on Other Derana 24. Well, we're in conversation with two beauty queens. Well, this is the first time in Sri Lanka that we're actually doing one of this kind, talking about the serious topics. Well, this is about physical beauty and the impact of physical beauty on, the socials of Sri Lanka, the youth of Sri Lanka, the youth of Sri Lanka. Well, we're going to talk about, we spoke about actually quite a lot of things, but specifically what I want to talk about is in terms of enhancements. Physical beauty enhancements. There are so many cosmetic procedures. For an example, whether you put it on your nose, your lips, your breastable area, all of these weird little things that they actually inject, right? Because they enhance it. They've made it so normal because they're like, no, I come to a certain age, I'm going to do it because I'm very insecure with my nose. I'm insecure with my lips. I'm insecure with my face, my arms, everything, right? What do you have to say about this? I'm going to direct this specifically to Lucky first, and then we'll go to Ishadi, right? So Lucky, what do you have to say about this?
All right. I think during the break, I was just telling you about how the ancient civilizations too had this issue, especially when we talk about Greece, right? They had this thing called the golden ratio. If you have an asymmetrical face or a figure, then you are considered divine. And this is an insecurity that was created even back then, until even as of this day, they still sell this. And the beauty companies, they profit off of your insecurities. It's not that you're not beautiful enough, it's not that you're not presentable enough. It's just that all these insecurities that's playing in your mind because of all these advertising. These are all targeted advertising that goes into the minds of the youth, and they feel pressured to conform by these beauty standards. Did you know like 22% of adults and around 40% of teenagers, they feel the pressure to look exactly, you know, like what they see on the social media images and stuff, and they all have body dysmorphic issues or like different types of mental issues. You know, it's the same like I was talking before. So I'm not against these enhancements. Yeah. Yes, you can do it, but don't advertise it a lot, you know, because like not everybody can afford it. And, you know, you sometimes like tend to send out the wrong message that,
and
you know, only,
believe.
yes, that only if you do your nose, if you do your lips or you enhance your breast, that's what's going to make you look acceptable. And that's not the case. You know, beauty comes in different sizes, different colors, different shades. And, you know, we need to have inclusivity in the society. We need to accept like different, to let you know, this country, Mauritania, throughout the history, they have always favored or appreciated like full-figured women. Right, with contrast of like, you know, the Western world where they think the slim, thin, tall, that's the ideal beauty. So it's actually a social construct. I think beauty is just a social construct, nothing inborn. And you know, we need to educate the youngsters, like earlier, as I told you, like, you know, pioneers like us, we should like be spokesperson of, you know, towards this cause, and educate the youngsters that, you know, it's okay to look a certain way. It's okay to be slim or like full-figured, because that's all beauty. You know, see, that's why I would always say education comes first.
Sorry, I'm going to cut you off there a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because I find it a little contradictory that you mentioned that. You're like,
Yeah.
you know, it's fine if, you know, someone wants to enhance their beauty.
Yes.
But isn't that still doing the same thing? If you're not promoting as much, because it is a business at the end of the day, it's okay if you're promoting it or overly promoting it. But if you're saying it's okay for someone to go and enhance it, I really don't understand that. Isn't it a little contradictory?
Yeah, what I meant was I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I would not say, you know, I'm just because I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to like stop another person from doing it, because see, no matter how, like, you know, how loud my voice would be for this course, like to be, you know, natural as possible. Like I could, like, you know, keep on saying this forever, for eons, but I doubt that the society would like really listen to just my voice, you know. So which is why I said like people are gonna do it, but like if you are gonna do it, just do it a bit you know, low key. Don't go open up about it too much. Don't advertise it all the time. Don't advertise too much about these whitening products, because people end up having skin cancers, and which is why, like you said, like you said, you're not going to be a spokesperson for whitening products. I would never talk about these things on my platforms. But there are always there are people who would always talk about these things, and we cannot personally go and put an end to it. So it is a bit contradicting when I said that, but that's the reality we live in. This society is as such that we cannot really put an end to certain things. It's going to go on
and on and on.
Yeah, my opinion is that if you have some insecurities, we have these medical things to surgery and do surgery, and sometimes, you know, it's like a big insecurity from your child because you have a like nose issues or whatever it is. I'm not talking about like lips pumping or something like that, but sometimes it can be something like internal and really important for you, so you can use surgery. For the mental health, I'm always talking about mental health. So unfortunately, our physical conditions is going with our mental health. So if we can change something and be good inside, not the skin color, if that haven't a direct issue with the health, like if you are changing.
Sorry, I'm going to cut you off there. So So you mentioned basically the fact that your mental health basically is also primarily because of your physical beauty.
Yeah, in this
but
society.
Then, how do you sort of define that? Because I
Can
think...
I cut you off there?
Yeah.
Like probably she would want to say like examples like, let's say, a cleft lip, right? We call it. Yeah. So like when you have conditions like that, like I know like a student from my daughter's school, he's done a corrective procedure to look normal, so that he's so he feels better now. He doesn't feel that insecure. So that sort of procedures, yes, I would always say yay to that.
Right.
But the other procedures where you know, the full-figured ideal beauty that the social media portrays, I'm not for it. I'm not for it.
And you should not really believe everything on social media, because everything is edited and all. I'm trying my best to not edit photos. If photographers are editing photos, okay, but on my social media, I'm always starting my videos without no makeup, and it's like that since the first day I started my social media. And the other thing is, I think when I went to the beauty pageant, the Mrs World pageant, everyone asked me to do my boob job, to like try to remove...
Well, increase your,
try to remove my stretch marks and all, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that, because this is a part of who I am, motherhood. This is my journey as a mother. So that's a normal thing. But I think if someday I'm not feeling comfortable with that, if it's going to have issue with my mental health, I'm going to do that. Do a boob job or remove my stretch mark, but it's only because of my mental health. But it's difficult because on
But what about the side effects that come with it as well? That's the big problem, right? It's not just about enhancing your beauty or for the standard of what beauty is or inspiring other people. It's rather the side effects, because these are literal like chemicals that you put into your system, and then that's going to turn on you because your body's not used to it. So the side effect is going to be very detrimental in the future. So that's the thing that we're trying to sort of advocate and say, no, stop it. We don't want it anymore. This is not what's good. That's what we're trying to do. So what do you have to say about that? Because
I really don't know if it's I don't know the surgery. I don't know if you have really like bad side effects.
Right?
There are people who have died on the operating theatre doing BBLs.
Always. You have always risk.
Yes,
but
there
I
are
think
risks.
That's something you have to like be really in a good condition to do the surgery and all. I don't like. Sometimes you are going to some countries that you have like low prices and surgery, and you have to be really careful about that. But I think it's all about social media ads and everything. So we have to really be like concerned about that what we see is always edited. That's not the beauty stance. Beauty is not all about that. It's how you feel inside, how you are inside, how you feel, how you are with people. That's all about that. Beauty is not, I think I prove myself that when I went to this Mrs World pageant, the beauty is not what you see here. It's all about mental, all about my heart, what I'm inside. So I think you have to be more concerned about that than the outside beauty.
Right. Yeah, I think that sort of summed up everything, to be honest, in terms of being you yourself, a personal individual. This is who Ishadi is, and that's who Lucky is. Yeah. I'm calling you Lucky on air because
that's fine.
we're besties now. Come back on the show, I love it. Yeah. But thank you so much for doing this right here on Gen XYZ. Honestly, it's mean so much actually to us, and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
And can't wait for the big things you're going to do, in your future as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Well, with that, of course, it's a wrap right here on Gen XYZ. In case you're wondering again where we are, well, it's the same location. It's Kimara. They've got so many amazing treatments as well when it comes to, if you've got headaches, if you've got migraines, if you're suffering with these little illnesses, well, guess what? They've got the solution for you. So definitely come by. Once again, it's located at Reed Avenue, Columbus 7. And with that, in case you do miss out on an episode, we are available on youtube.com/OtherThanEnglish. And with that, catch you on a different episode right here on Gen XYZ.